Hello, America, and welcome back to another episode of To Hear Me Tell It, the life and times of Jerry Daniels. When you've had your daily dose of today's craziness, dealing with all them Karens out there, ride shotgun with old JD as he goes back and recounts the life and times of growing up in the South during the 60s and 70s. I believe we were called baby boomers. Stories that you will say, yep, I done that, but I ain't gonna tell my kids, and I ain't never told my spouse. But whatever the truth be, it will be this, to hear me tell it. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to yet another episode of To Hear Me Tell It. I'm actually ahead of the game. I'm recording this before the Wednesday that it would be released, and there's a reason for it. But anyway, so I got to get it done earlier. Thanks to all those who listen. I think I'm averaging maybe 20. I know y'all keep hearing, like, why does Jerry keep saying that? Because I want more. Keep sharing it with folks. Like, subscribe if you're on the YouTube side. And for those who do it. Is that proper? I don't know. Ask Clarence Mathis. Is that proper? Those who do it, or maybe Jeff Ledger. He's a smart guy. Jeff Ledger's down in Florida. He's a Floridian. Jeff Ledger's a good man. He's a good man. Y'all don't know Jeff Ledger, but he's a good man. And he raises chickens too. So he's like sometimes my chicken coach. But he's smart, especially about English. So he would probably say, that's not correct, Jerry. I don't know. All right. You know, recording it early, I can't talk about current events because I don't know what's going to happen in the next coming days. But I will say this. I'm going to start with this. I spoke last week. So last Wednesday was, or actually I think I didn't get it out till like Thursday or whatever. But anyway, neither here nor there. So last week, I think it was Thursday, the 9th of October, I showed a picture of this woman over here. And her name was Katie Porter. That's her name, Katie Porter. And she's, I think, a congressman or some crap. And then she's decided that she's all that in a bag of chips, and she's going to run for governor of California. Yeah, she has no leadership skills whatsoever. None. She may have experience, but it's really bad experience, and she's not smart enough to apply bad experience to grow. So she has no leadership skills. And I would say she's got some that maybe she built and homed, but that's not the case either. So Katie Porter, old Katie, and I call her the rusted fire plug in a dress. That's the only thing she can wear is a dress. Other than, if you do your research, she came to work one day in the halls of Congress wearing a Batgirl suit. Y'all, you can't make this up. Is there anybody decent left in California? I don't know if they are. They live out in the woods or up north part, because Southern California is full of man, these folks got problems, man. They got problems. They've ruined the state. But old Katie Porter, yeah, no sooner than I talked about her, she's in hot water, and now more stuff's coming out about her. She's done. Stick a fork in her, man. She's done. You really cannot make up this stuff. It's impossible. And she actually, in her head, she believes she's suitable and qualified to be the governor of one of the largest states in the entire union. Really? Who pours poison in their head and convinces them of this crap? I don't know. But yeah, she's a soup sandwich from the word get-go. So all I'm going to say is about Katie Porter. Told you. I think one of the most recent videos now that's come out is she was doing an interview, and one of her staffers in the background got in her shot. She blew a gasket. And if you go do your homework, you'll read that her staffers, mostly those that are short term, they quit real quick. She's an absolute tyrant at work. And I don't know how to describe this other than I'll just try to do the best I can. But women who have the visual features of her, the face, the contour, the little bitty mouth that looks like a fish, the body that looks like a fire plug, most women who look like her, the forehead, all that, they always seem pissed off.
And this is just an observation and an inference. I'm just saying, somebody who just stands on the outside, on the sideline and watches a game, that's a common trend among people that look like her. They're pissed off, they're sour, they're zealots. Yep, she ain't never had a decent job in her life. She got into politics early, worked as a staffer and all this other kind of stuff, and a pager and an intern, and ooh. Well, she went and found relevance is what she did. Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's enough about Fireplug. Let me check that off my damn list here. The chickens are doing well, and I'm expecting that they're going to molt very soon, which is going to be unpleasant to look at because they'll lose probably 50, 60, 70% of their feathers. They'll lose them, and they'll look poorly. And I hope they do it sooner than later before the weather gets cool because they're going to need their feathers for the winter. But they're doing good. And last night I was laying in bed. Did y'all get past the damn dream I had? I told her, Laura, I said, Laura, I shared that dream on my podcast and my YouTube channel. She goes, Jerry, you didn't do that. I go, yeah, I did. I said, this shit was funny. It was hilarious. I ain't never had a dream like that. I better not have another one like that. But nobody's chimed in on any comments and from that previous video that they even remotely had something that weird. And it doesn't matter. But anyway, so last night, hold on, I got a yawn. Oh, man. Excuse me. I had a coffee, too. Last night, Laura and I were laying in bed. We'd, getting ready to shut down for the night. And I was laying there, and we do the same thing. We lay there, our heads against the pillows. And I've told y'all before, we have never, since Laura and I have been married, going on 39 years. We've been married going on 39 years. My wife and I are proud to say, I don't know, that's just proud. It's just fact of it is. Doesn't mean anybody does it this bad, but we ain't never had a TV in the bedroom, ever. Mom and Daddy never had a TV in the bedroom. And I've never had a TV in the bedroom. So what replaces a TV? Well, until before the cell phone and the damn iPads, it was just me and Ms. Laura. And I kind of liked it. But anyway, so last night we was laying in bed, and she had her tablet and I had mine. I leaned back to look at my iPad. I'm sitting here, scrolling, I guess is what we call it. So I'm scrolling through my iPad, looking at the news and stuff and whatnot. And she lays on her side. Oh, man. I'm sorry, y'all. She lays on her side, and the cat nuzzles in a certain spot, the same spot, every time. And it's funny because the cat, when he comes up on the bed, his name's Simba. So Simba comes up on the bed. He knows we're going to bed. He comes back there. He gets up on the bed, and he first comes to me. He comes to the same spot, and he just looks at me. He stares at me. I'm like, it's a routine, y'all. It's hilarious. I should video it. But he comes up there and he walks up and looks at me, and I put my finger and I point it at him and I go, boop, and I touch him on the nose. He pulls his head back like that. He backs out of that little position, crawls over, and goes to that same spot where Laura is, and he lays there. And he don't move. Now, he may start cleaning himself, licking his legs or paws or whatever, and then that gets annoying as hell. But he may do that. But other than that, he just goes there and lays there until Laura goes, I'm done. I'm going to sleep. Now, that's the cue for me. Because when Laura says, I'm done, I'm going to sleep, that means everybody is done and everybody needs to go to sleep. That's what it really means. So Laura says, well, I'm done. I'm ready to go to sleep. Boom, buddy. I close my iPad, throw it over there, put my glasses on. I take my glasses off. I take my glasses off. I have to put on my damn CPAP machine thingamajigger, which I hate. I really hate that. If y'all don't have sleep apnea and you don't have to wear a damn CPAP, you are blessed. Trust me on that. And then the cat gets up and goes down to the hope chest down there at the end of the bed and gets in his little, I call it the fluff ring. He gets in that fluff ring and he starts making biscuits and purring real loud, and he lays down. So last night, that's a long story to get to the story. So last night, we're laying there and I'm scrolling, and I thought, and I've had to make some adjustments. Golly, Pete, y'all. I had to make some adjustments on the automatic door on the chicken coop and the interior light. and I had to get them in sync. So I made some changes yesterday. And this time of the year, before we switch back to Eastern Standard Time, it's getting darker earlier and earlier and earlier. So I'm trying to keep up with it. So I made some changes. And 2 or 3 nights ago, the door closed and it locked like half the chickens out. So I had to get up and go out there, open the door, and say, y'all got to go inside. And oh, yeah, I didn't have to say anything. I just opened the door and it was dark. They all went in the coop. So last night I'm laying in bed. I still ain't got to the story yet. Last night I'm laying in bed, and I thought I'll go to the camera that's in the coop just to make sure all the girls are in. And I look, and I can count them, but they look like they're all in there. And then I got another camera on the outside, and I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, I don't see any stragglers out there. And then I go back to the interior camera, and I'm guessing it's either Cher or Sunny, one of them two. I think it was Sunny. Has laid an egg in the dark of the night, like at 9:30 at night, and there's an egg, and it's teeter-tottering right on the top where she roosts on a piece of 1x6 above all the nesting boxes. And she's standing there next to it, and I showed it to Laura. I said, that damn chicken has just laid an egg on top of a damn 1x6, and I got to get up and go get it. She said, lucky you. I said, yeah. So I had to get up, turn the alarms off, put on my shoes, get my little headlamp. I had to go out to the chicken coop to get one egg that numbnuts laid, and so it wouldn't fall off and break, and they would eat it. And it was dark, so it would just lay there, and then that attracts rodents and other things. So I went and got the damn egg. So anyway, and I counted it as yesterday's egg. So I had 11 eggs yesterday. I had 10 the day before, and then I had 11 the day before that. So anyway, all right. So, but the chickens are doing good, and I got to do some serious maintenance in the coop today, doing a lot of cleanup. I don't know where y'all are, meaning between Mike Snyder, Bob Gherkin, Joe Stitka, Mike LaFay, maybe Joe Oswald, maybe Mike Coker, Brett Owen, Christy Dunn. The list goes on. The folks that listen on a regular basis. Jeff Ledger, I don't know. I don't know where y'all are, but man, where we live up in North Georgia, I thought last year was bad. We are inundated with, I call them Juno spiders, garden spiders, the big freaking yellow spiders, yellow and black spiders. And they are freaking everywhere. And they build new webs every night. They're all over the garden, which is good. Catch bugs. And they're everywhere. These freaking things are everywhere. And they got some strong web material, man. How do I know? Because I damn walk in it. So yesterday I had to let the chickens out, and they all got down in the woods, and I was darn tired of herding them. So I thought, all right, I'm finished. I'm going to round them all up and put them back in the coop, and I got to go get busy doing something else. And I'm walking through the woods, and I want to tell y'all something. I can deal with a snake. I can deal with a lot of things. I can't deal with spiders. See, I'm feeling crickly crawlies on me now. I can't deal with spiders. And I'm going through the woods, and I'm walking in these big, massive spider webs. And in my mind, when I walk into a big ass spider web, there's a big ass spider involved, and he's somewhere on me. I can't deal with spiders. I hate it. Can't stand them. So yesterday, if somebody had been recording it, you'd have quite the video, because I damn near hurt myself trying to get out of the woods and doing all this stuff, and I got all the spiders all over me and shit. And anyway, I can't stand them. So I've got a long telescopic pole that was actually part of a kit to install and remove floodlights that are way up high. That's what it's, and it's telescopic. You can use it as a painting pole too. Oh, wait, no, that's a different pole. This is a painting pole. This is not the other one that came with the light kit. So this is a telescopic painter's pole. And I got that big brush on the end of it that's just used for brushing stuff. And I use that, and I knocked down all these damn spiders and their webs. And yesterday I was out there and I looked around the back deck over there, the back deck, and man, there were spiders everywhere between that and all the Leyland pines and stuff. They got them big ass spiders in them webs, and I was sweeping the brush a certain way and I was catching the spiders. And I bring that brush down and I walk over there and I thump that spider into the daggum chicken coop. Man, that spider don't live a nanosecond. Chickens get them. And they love them. Chickens love spiders. They love spiders. Almost as much as a damn blueberry. You want to see a chicken have a fit? Feed chicken a blueberry. Not many of them because they get diarrhea, but give chickens blueberries every once in a while. They love that shit. Anyway, I'm done with the spiders. And now it's got fall, the brown spiders are out. So, and if you want to have a lot of fun, just get yourself one of them thing called a salt gun. A-salt, S-A-L-T, gun, a salt gun. And you can shoot spiders all day long. And if you had alcohol involved with it, it's hilarious. So, all right. Check that off my list. Here's my joke. And this is a joke about two old country boys from Taylor County. How about that? Taylor County. So these two old country boys from Taylor County, and they got up to age and they managed to graduate high school. And they was going to go to college because they figured if they didn't go to college, they'd just be stuck in town and they couldn't get out of Taylor County. And that's not true. That's just what they thought. And these boys' names just happened to be Larry and Bill. Two old country boys from Taylor County named Larry and Bill decided that they needed to go broaden their intellect, and they didn't want to live the life of running vegetables to the Atlanta farmers market all their life. So they figured, we got to go to college. So Larry and Bill enroll in the same college, and they both get accepted in the same college. And they go see the college counselor about what classes they got to take their first semester at their first time ever in college. So Larry goes in first, and Bill sits outside in the hallway, and Larry goes in to meet the counselor. We'll just call him Mr. Counselor. So Mr. Counselor's talking to Larry and say, well, I've looked at your ASVAB, not your ASVAB, your ACT and your, what do they call that? I can't even think of the name of it, whatever they call it, your scores. How about that? So he's looking at his SAT and his ACT scores, and he says, well, looking at what you got here, Mr. Larry, he says, I'm going to recommend your first class you take just 3 classes the first semester. And I'm going to recommend you take math, history, and logic. Larry sat there and looked at him and thought, Larry said, well, I'm familiar with math and the history part, but I don't understand the logic part. He goes, what is logic? And Mr. Counselor says, well, let me give you an example, Mr. Larry. He says, here's how kind of logic works. He said, let me just give you an example. He said, Larry, you own a weed eater? And Larry says, matter of fact, I do. And the counselor looks at Larry and he says, well, logic would dictate you own property that you take care of. And Larry said, holy crap, that's amazing. You drew that there conclusion on account of the fact that I got a weed eater? Counselor said, yes, I did. Counselor said, well, wait a minute though, Larry. Logic is better. The fact that you own a weed eater and you do own land that you take care of, logic tells me that you probably own a house. Larry goes, oh my gosh, that's amazing. And the counselor says, I know, that's how logic works. You got a weed eater, you got land to take care of, logic tells me you own a house. Larry said, damn, man, I like this logic stuff. And the counselor says, oh, it gets better. He says, matter of fact, logic tells me, I bet you're married. And Larry said, that is amazing. I am married. He said, you got all that? He goes, yep. In fact, logic tells me that if you own a weed eater, you got a yard to take care of, you own a home, logic tells me you're probably a married man. Larry said, well, I am. He said, well, I'll tell you something else logic tells me. The fact that you own a weed eater, you take care of a yard, you own a home, that you're married, you ain't gay. Larry said, no, I am not. No, I'm not. He said, that's how logic works, Larry. Larry says, I like this. This is, okay, I'll take that class too. So Larry signs up for math, for history, and logic. And he's good to go and got his little slip. He walks out the door. There's old Bill sitting there on the bench in the hallway. Bill stands up. He says, how'd it go? He says, good. I'm signed up for my first 3 classes for our first semester. He said, really? What you going to take? Larry says, I'm taking math, taking history, and logic. And Bill pulled back and said, logic? Tell's that? Larry said, let me show you an example. He said, Bill, do you own a weed eater? He said, no. He says, well, then you're gay. Oh, man. Oh. Y'all got to laugh. That's funny. All right. That's funny. That's my joke of the day. Yeah, buddy. Woo. Hey, this is going to be somewhat short today. Last week, I'm sorry, y'all, it was 50 minutes long, but it's going to be a shorter one today. And this is just in reference to all these damn demonstrations that are going on. You know, Portland, Oregon, and last night, and by the time I recorded this, but last night there was a big one in Boston. And it is amazing to me, and I can't wrap my head around this because I don't understand it. Our forefathers would have never, ever envisioned what we see today. They'd be pissed and disappointed. But these protests that are pro-Palestinian protests, pro-Hamas protests in the streets of America. I mean, are we that freaking, I mean, granted, I get it, y'all. We got the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. We got all the amendments. We got the Constitution. It's just, it's not that hard to figure out. And I don't understand how it's allowed. The burning of the American flag. I told y'all before, and I'll say it again. The burning of the American flag is not an expression of speech. It's not. It's insightful. It's arson. Building a damn fire somewhere. No. I don't get that. People who burn the American flag in the streets and everything, they're looking to. It's a poke. That's all that is. It's a poke. They want to get somebody pissed off. Y'all remember years ago when some knucklehead and I think it was a World Series game, but some idiot ran out into the field and was trying to set the flag on fire. And I forget the baseball player's name. I should remember that. But he went out and he saved the American flag, and the crowd went wild. I don't understand it. And it really, really, really disappoints me. It disappoints me that this is what we have in our country. You know, America is known to be a tolerant country, and people take advantage of that, in my humble opinion. And I got to thinking, and I wrote down here on my piece of paper, how many other countries, let's just say all of Central and South America, all of Eastern Europe, and way out there in the Middle East, into some parts of Asia, how many massive demonstrations do you see of Americans who have migrated to these other lands holding pro-American rallies and protests and demonstrations? You don't see any because we stay home. This is our house. But the fact of the matter is our government, particularly the Obama and the Biden administration, have allowed millions upon millions upon millions of unvetted people to come into our house. And now they don't know how to behave. I'm not Islamophobe, xenophobe, whatever those words are. I'm not none of that. But I do know this. I read history. And I make observations and inferences. I apply what's called Occam's razor. But I do know this. Islam is a false religion and a cult. And Islam, the people who worship, and that's their thing, those people, their ideologies, is not compatible with anything else in the world. It never has, and it never will be. Don't mean I'm afraid of them. Don't mean I'm racist. Doesn't mean I'm anything else. I'm just stating a fact. Christians, however, have a history of being able to get along. They may pray for somebody. They open their arms, they open the doors, they'll welcome somebody. They'll say, let me share with you, whatever. But Islam is utterly incapable of coexisting with any other culture in the world. Don't believe me. Matter of fact, call me a liar. Call me ignorant if you like. But I will challenge you and say, prove me wrong. Go read your history. Prove me wrong. Show me where. I ain't seen it yet. All right, I was going to be successful today and keep this under 25 minutes. Don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Let me know if you've eaten pumpkin pie with Miracle Whip. We call it whipped cream. It wasn't whipped cream. It was Miracle Whip, the one that's in the tub. And let me know if you've had that and you ate it and you went to bed. You ate it right before you went to bed, and then you had some weird dreams. So that's it, folks. I hope all is well. Continue to pray for Mike Posey. I'm going to lift old Mike up in prayer. He's still recovering, and the more he shares with me about the struggles of rehabilitation after a stroke, I just didn't know. I didn't know it was that difficult because I was ignorant of it. I didn't know that, and I heard from Joe the other day, and he's still recovering fine. And I'm probably going to have surgery, kind of like what Joe did, to fix I call it my scooter, my other brother sticking his head out of his damn hole. I got to get that fixed. All right. So remember, if you don't own a weed eater, you might be gay. That was pretty freaking funny. All right, that's it, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. God bless you. God bless America. Donald Trump, President Trump. I shouldn't call you by your first name. That's not respectful. President Trump. I is one person. I guess the Democrats and the liberals will consider me a deplorable. But I, as one person, an American citizen who's born and raised here, served his country for 26 years, active duty. I appreciate you, man, and I thank what you're doing, and I really, really, really am very grateful to you, and thank you for loving America the way you do. God bless. Bicycle.